guys, how's it going? Today is just going to be a little bit of this and that. I love days like that where you're just kind of puttering around working on little projects, and that's what we've got going on around here. A lot of things that need to be buttoned up. This is our first project right here. We're going to get our garlic all cleaned up and into storage today. After we're done with this, I think we're going to go get some of the tulips and daffodils dusted with sulfur and put in storage as well. And I think a good temperature for both of these crops is right around 50 degrees. So I already reset the root cellar. We should stay right at 50 degrees, which will keep the garlic happy and keep the bulbs happy, I hope. And today I'll probably put all the garlic in the root cellar, but I do intend, like in the evenings, later in the evenings when we're just kind of, done for the day and in the house, I'm going to be slowly working on getting the garlic further processed by taking them apart, peeling them, and getting them in Ziploc bags in the freezer. I like to store garlic that way. It's ready to go when I need it, and it keeps longer that way for me. After those two projects are done, we've got a little bit of planting to do, mostly to do with the 2025 annuals that are coming out. We might pick strawberries and make jam. I'm not sure. It's beautiful outside today. 81 is our high. While just 2 days ago was 100 degrees. So this is just beautiful. We did have a storm system come through yesterday. I think I was able to capture a little bit of that when we were out in the high tunnel, and it just poured. It poured. The wind blew a bit, but a town just won over from us. Like 10 or 12 miles got nailed. It was a microburst, like it was a fast and furious storm, and I saw a video of the city park last night, and it's just down to trees, flooding everywhere, damaged crops. It's just horrible, and I can't believe that was so close to us. We got the benefit of the rain, but we got a lot of wind last night, but not like they did. Anyway, garlic. So it has been sitting in here for about 12 or 13 days at this point. It's completely dried down. The stalks are dry. So at this point, what we do is we come in, I'm going to cut the stalk just up from the head, just like that. And then I'm going to possibly, most of the time I don't have to use a brush, but I want to kind of just like brush off any excess soil, and then we're going to trim the roots. So during this process, this is the curing process when we lay our garlic out in a shaded area that's got good air ventilation, but somewhere still rather warm. When we brought them in here, the stalks were still fairly green. So they sit here for usually 10 to 14 days, and they soak in all the rest of that energy from the leaves and the roots. And then we come in and we clean them up. Also during that process, they have a chance to dry. If there's any excess soil stuck around the roots or anywhere on the head of garlic, they have a chance to dry. We can remove the soil. Thus, we limit the chance of adding or introducing moisture into our storage area, which can encourage rotting. So this is what we're going to do for the first part of today. Now I will be on the lookout for heads that look like this that I accidentally pierced when I was digging them out, and I'm going to have a separate basket for those. We'll use those first. So we're just going to work on this. Shouldn't take us too long, and then we'll move on to project number 2. And there they are, all done. Aren't they beautiful? Oh my goodness, so much garlic, and it smells really good in here right now. So this is the basket that's going to go in the root cellar. All of these are fully intact. They've got nice covering on them. This is the basket I'm going to take inside, and it ranges from like severe damage, like where my digging fork went all the way into the head, to most of them are like this, where there's just a tiny indent in one side. But even that tiny indent can make storage life go down. So I took anything that was like that and put it in here, and this will be the first one I go through. And because I plan to store most of it like that anyway, it works out. So I'll be able to take, even on heads that look like this, I'll be able to take most of the head, the cloves that are surrounding that one damaged one, and save all of those. But let's get these in the root cellar quick. Ooh, it's still pretty chilly in there, 38, which is fine for the garlic. And there it will stay for now. So garlic can be stored anywhere between 32 and 50 degrees, I think is ideal. But your tulip bulbs, when you're storing them just for the summertime and you're going to plant them in the ground in the fall, they don't need to be chilled in the summer because they'll get that chill period, the vernalization period, during the winter months. We want to keep those between 50 and 70. So that's why I'm trying to get this up to 50 degrees so that it's good for the garlic and good for the tulips and daffodils. Oh, just opening that door for that long, it's now 45 in there. Getting closer. Okay, now for our tulips and daffodils. Here in the studio, I already gave you guys an update recently-ish, where I showed you the first batch that we dug out of the cut flower garden have already been cleaned and bagged. They're ready for storage, but I didn't have any dusting sulfur. So we're gonna dust these with sulfur, which helps prevent rot. And I'm just gonna leave them in bags like this in the root cellar. It's not ideal. You don't really want the bulbs touching each other necessarily, but these have been finely combed through, and anything that was even slightly questionable was removed. So I think we'll be okay. Plus our crop just exploded. We have so many more bulbs than we started off with, so we should be okay. And again, for those of you who haven't been following kind of this cut flower garden tulip daffodil project, I had them in the cut flower garden and I wanted to save them so that we didn't have to, reorder them for this fall. It's a tedious process. It's almost like digging dahlias. It's not something I'll probably do again, but it's a fun experiment to see if it works. But they're in the cut flower garden where I want to plant a whole bunch of other things. So I needed to get them out. So anyway, that's where we're at with that. We don't typically dig tulips and daffodils. We leave them under the soil surface and they're fine through our winter months and come back daffodils better than tulips from year to year. But anyway, I just had never stored this type of bulb through the summer months and I wanted to see if I could do it. And they're all looking really good. I cannot believe the daffodils are just massive. So the goal is to dust the bagged ones with sulfur and the crated ones with sulfur, and we'll put those in bags as well. I've got a few more bags sitting here. And then these we will clean a different day. There's still quite a lot of moisture in these. We'll let them dry down a little bit more. And it's warm in here. I do not know why. Where's the thermometer thing? Aha. No way, it's 68 degrees in here right now. There we go. Kick the fan speed up in here a little bit. Real quick, this is what the sulfur powder looks like. And I've just got this little strainer sieve thing. And I'm basically gonna do one of these to put some sulfur in the bag. And then I'm gonna shake the bag around as good as I can so we get even coverage. So let's see how this one works. Pretty good. I think what we're after is just a nice little layer on each one of the bulbs. And that pretty much did it to this one. Maybe a tiny bit more on this side and I'll shake it again. Yeah, that looks really good. A lot easier than I thought it was going to be, which is so nice. And that could be because there wasn't as many bulbs in this bag. So like on bags where I've got a whole bunch, what I might do is transfer half of these bulbs to an empty sack, treat them with sulfur, and then treat the remaining ones in this bag with sulfur and then combine them back together. Whatever makes this process quick, easy, and as efficient as possible. That's the goal. Here we go. Oh my goodness, it's looking good. We got through a lot of those. We've got 10 crates left. There are 11 crates sitting here, but one of them's just full of our supplies here. And you know, there are a couple crates that would probably be ready to go. In fact, I did one of them today, cleaned off the tops and stored the bulbs. Like these here are probably dried down enough. These have a tiny bit more moisture left in them. So anyway, I just decided to leave all those because those are going to take more work than we have time for this afternoon. So we'll just let them dry down a little bit more and then do the same exact process. And I try to clean up between, even though we're going to make a giant mess in here again, it's nice to be able to, until we get to it, walk through this area and not have it be a complete disaster. And then let's take a look here in the root cellar. It's at 38. I gotta figure that out. But right here, we've got all of the crates. There's one on the floor, and then there's one on this side as well. So those will only be in here, let's see, July, August, September, 3 months. And then we'll be pulling them back out, and you know how fast 3 months goes. We'll be pulling them back out and replanting. The next things that are going to be going into the root cellar are onions and potatoes, but they're not ready to harvest quite yet. All right, next we're going to head to the high tunnel and we're going to grab some annuals, and we're going to head out to the landscape, and then we're going to pick strawberries. Look at these beautiful plants. Oh my goodness. Kind of focusing in on pink, but I'm also going to possibly add in the ridiculous coleus, which this one is not a new variety, but I love this one. And I think it blends really nicely with pink. And then we've got the Bermuda Beach Supertunia, which is also not a new one, but beautiful with this blend. So we've got two that are new for 2025. First one is the Angel Face Wedgwood Pink Angelonia. This Angelonia has got bicolor pink and white blooms. They grow about 18 to 30 inches tall and about a foot wide. So I think that this one, actually this one will be kind of our backdrop because these can get upwards of 4 feet. 24 to 40 inches, close to 4 feet. And in a full sun location, which I think they're gonna go right out here, they will get closer to that end of things height-wise. So this will be our next layer down, and then down from that is this beautiful new dahlia. You get one that's got color. Not all of them have color yet, but this is a Virtuoso Vibrant Violet. Isn't that gorgeous? Now we did use these, which I think is why this will work really well in this flower bed. We use these in this mix right here, as well as the Wedgwood Pink. Everything has settled into this container beautifully, and I want to add these just right down the way, right here in front of the Catalpas, right along the walkway. I think they're siding the house over there. That's what all that noise is. Okay, so we're just gonna lay these out and get them in the ground. Oh my goodness, you guys, look at this walkway lined with all this beautiful color. I was able to do kind of 3 pockets, one great big one, a smaller pocket of coleus here, and a few of the angelonia right here. Now I do have the mini vista ultramarine right here lining the sidewalk, and that goes all the way to the pink potion veronica, and then in starts our great big drift. So our back layer is the ridiculous coleus. There are some white delphiniums, a couple of patches of those worked in. They don't look like much now, but they will be nice and tall. And then our next layer is the Wedgwood pink angelonia. And then with the dahlias, I put one here. There's a grouping of 3 along the way, and then a grouping of 4 at the end. And in between those, I did the Supertunia Bermuda Beach. Oh my goodness. Once we get all the drip run to these and get this mulched, oh, it's gonna look so good. And even better, look at the chatalpas. These are the ones I thought had died, and we just were kind of behind and we didn't get them pulled out, and I'm so thankful we didn't, because look at them. All 3 of them. So there's 1, 2, and then a 3rd one right down here behind our flower topiary. And this is where the 4 dahlias are, there toward the end. I also love this look right here. We have the reminiscent pink roses, some pink echinacea, a little drift of the ridiculous, and then we have the flavorette, is it honey apricot rose right here? I think that both the red and the apricot and the red and the pink are a gorgeous combination. But my favorite is when you stand back here and you can see just beyond the curve that pop of pink over there. Oh, and here comes the sun back out. I just love how it turned out. Anyway, guys, I think that is going to do it for today. I'm going to wait to pick strawberries for another day because I don't have time to both pick the strawberries and make the jam, and I kind of want to do those projects simultaneously. But I am happy with what we got done today. I mean, getting the garlic all done and prepped for storage, getting all of the tulip and daffodil bulbs in the root cellar that we could at this point, that always feels good. Just like chipping away at those projects. And then this, oh, it's so fun really to have annuals to plant this time of year. You know, we usually make our big push to get all of that done in May and then maybe the first week or 2 of June. But when you've got this new influx of annuals that aren't even going to be out until the next year, that you get to just try out and just play around with, it's fun to do that this time of year. And there are always gaps to fill in, and it's fun to try out different pairings too. Now, I did want to mention about this coleus. It's out here in full sun, and really not a whole lot of protection from any wind, so it's going to need extra water. Color Blaze coleus can take both sun or shade, but in my experience, at least in our climate, where we don't get a tremendous amount of rainfall, except for yesterday when we did, but that's not a usual thing. We do have to up the amount of irrigation, so we'll run 1 extra line between all the coleus instead of just the normal amount. That way it gets a little bit extra, but everything else just gets the normal amount. In that case, it turns out usually really well. The coleus gets really nice and big. They're just a wonderful plant. One last look, one last walk down this walkway. I cannot believe how much it's filling in. Just loving it so much. Pan to the left, look at all the space we have over here. Oh, and I'm thinking we need a deciduous tree right here. Another day. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you in the next one. Bye.